Okay, so welcome to EFT Business Spotlight. We're EFT business coaches, Alina Frank
and Craig Wiener, but we have a special guest.
We do have a special guest, so let's introduce our special guest.
Okay.
So,
Lisa Kaye Moran, and we are going to be talking about her practice and her business.
Yeah.
And these are fun. So these are short and sweet, and we get to really have a sense of her specialty and what she does. So let's just start right off with, what kind of people do you help, Lisa? I mean, I know, but who's listening doesn't know. So I was wondering if you could tell a little bit about who you help and what you do, and a little bit about the perfect person that you work with when you do your work.
Okay, great. I work with traders, that being people who trade commodities, stocks, currencies, any kind of trading in the markets, because trading is a mirror into your own issues. When people are trading, anything that they could do to get in their own way can and will show up in their trading experience.
Yeah.
Like what? What do you mean by that?
Well, for example, most people will spend a great amount of time developing their trading plan. We're going to look for a specific signal. Certain things are going to happen, usually 2 or 3 things, and that's where you enter a trade.
Okay.
Well, that's real easy when you're not trading with money. But a lot of traders, when it comes time to actually implement what they've designed and tested, and they just know it's going to work, they'll freeze. They won't execute the trade. They'll jump in early. Oh, I see 2 of the 3 things. I know it's coming. And they'll jump in early. And these are just things that we do to sabotage ourselves and keep ourselves from having the success that we ideally would like to have in the markets.
So even with all the know-how and all the experience and all the parameters, there's still anxiousness and nervousness and jumping the gun and all of that still.
Yeah, jumping the gun or freezing and not taking any action. It can show up in a variety of different ways for different traders, but ultimately, if you're not getting the results that you got when you were testing your system, you're getting in your own way.
So that's probably a perfect measure of whether you got mindset things going on, is if you, on paper or the virtual thing. I know our son has played around with some of that. It's all great and they're making all these profits, and then it comes to the actual thing and the behavior is different. Is that what you see?
Yeah, when you put live money in it, it's a different ballgame.
It sounds very stressful. I mean, personally, I know that it's something that I would not be good at. But some people must think that they have an ability to stay calm and grounded, even in that high stress situation. But they've gone through all kinds of training. Right.
I mean, I think that most traders go through significant training, and I've heard that if they follow the formula, your odds are pretty good that you will succeed. And however, right, things happen, right?
Exactly. And of course, there could be that the trader jumps in and just thinks they're going to start trading and they really don't have a system. That's still an issue with yourself. You know, if you think you can just jump in and do something without the preparation and the testing and the back testing and all the things that really are required to be successful, that's just another set of self-sabotaging beliefs to work through.
So you sound like you know this topic in depth. And so how did you, what is your own experience? Do you know how to trade? Is it something that you do? How did you fall into that? And also, how did you fall into EFT?
Well, the trading piece has been something I've dabbled in off and on for years. In fact, 7.5 years ago, I was sitting at home trading. I wasn't making money yet, but I was trading. I was really having a great time, and somebody called me about a job, and I was like, I don't know, I'm having fun right now. And to me, the fun was developing the system. And I ended up running into a bug in the software, my, that's like my life story, finding bugs in software, and a pattern that when I decide to go back and trade, I'm going to have to make sure I've cleared that out of my vibrational pattern and don't recreate that again. But I just kept going back to it. I've gone back to trading so many times, it's not funny. It's like an addiction, and I find it to be a lot of fun. Just realistically, I can say that the part I find the most fun is developing the system. Trading itself is not such a thrill for me. So in a completely different way, I get a thrill from doing EFT. And so I might be better just focusing on the coaching and not so much on being a trader, but I certainly understand what traders run into. So you asked about my experience with EFT. I had heard about EFT for years and years, but I hadn't owned it. I had fiddled with it a little bit now and then, but I hadn't incorporated it into my being. And a couple of years ago, I signed up for an online 7-week course and decided to really get it into my system. And I enjoyed doing the course. It was about financial stuff, but I mostly was tapping on whatever came up for me while we were doing the course. And the one thing that really shook me, I have had surgery on both of my ears. I have, my stapes bones have been replaced. It's quite amazing what they're able to do. Otherwise, I would be basically deaf. And in the last many years, I've had issues. I had the surgeries 30 years ago, but I've had issues with being out in the wind and getting an earache. And that's happened over and over and again. Whether it's warm air, cool air, if I'm walking on the beach, if I'm riding my bike, yes, I live in Florida, I would come home and I would get an earache. And so I sat down and tapped on it one day. And it was like a 5-minute tapping session on these earaches. And the habit of my brain associating wind with earaches was broken with just that limited amount of tapping. And I was flabbergasted. It didn't make any sense to me. And it was only when I got into training a year ago, actually really diving in to get certified, that I came to understand that these patterns that we have, whether it be the brain saying wind equals earache, it's like we're all Pavlov's dogs. We have these patterns, and trading habits are just a pattern, and earaches turned out to be more of a pattern. I still get an occasional earache, but I don't have to worry that I go walk on the beach and I'm going to come home with an earache. I don't have to put cotton in my ears or headbands on when it's 85 degrees outside to keep my ears from having wind. So that's kind of how I got into really going, this stuff is amazing. I want to pursue it.
That's a great story. So I wanted to ask you about how somebody that's really struggling as a trader, let's say they're just at the bleakest moment right now, and give them like one nugget of wisdom if they just feel paralyzed, they're ready, what good message can you give that person listening in?
Well, I would say that when it comes to trading, there's 2 types of educational investment. One is to sort out and define your trading plan. And a lot of people will either purchase a piece of software or they'll subscribe to a person's newsletter. They'll get a mentor, they'll get a coach who's going to facilitate their development of the trading plan that fits their style, their personality. And the other side of it, dealing with our self-sabotage, with our limiting beliefs, the habits that we've developed over a lifetime, are things that you also could use help with and a coach to help you get through it. And so if someone's in that situation, I would invite them to go to my website and to book a 15-minute consultation, which is free, to talk and find out if it's something that they're doing that perhaps we could clear for them and help them move forward with their trading and be successful.
Sounds good.
Okay. And so not all traders are in Florida, though, are they?
Yeah. So tell us where exactly you are in Florida. Do you do in-person sessions, and how else is it that you work with clients?
I am in the Tampa Bay area, more specifically in the middle of Pinellas County, and I can work with people locally, but much more often I'm working with people over Skype.
Great.
That makes sense, because from Wall Street to Florida can be a little bit of a schlep. So
but it's the same time zone.
It is the same time zone.
Oh.
That's great. So thank you. So when people do want to find out more, your website is?
My website is releasingtraderselfsabotage.com.
Got it. So how to get people out of their own way to be able to make money and succeed. That's great.
Yeah, wonderful.
Yeah, wonderful. Thank you so much, Lisa,
Yes.
for your time. We really appreciate it.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.